It's the time for the package from China. Let's go! Welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to take a close look at the Gamebox Plus. Yeah, this is a new version and I just needed to pick it up like always, just to see what are we going to get. Of course, like always, these are just like Android boxes that they slapped in a new case, or they did something magical with it and slapped some emulation on it. Nevertheless, this is the Gamebox Plus edition. I think I have reviewed the older versions a very long time ago. I wasn't really satisfied about it, so let's take a close look what they changed out with the Plus. Okay, so what are we going to get? Encoder box, USB cable, receiver, machine, the wireless handle, certificates. Okay, instruction, micro TF and the HDMI cable. But okay, so let's check it out. So it's a very nice cubic looking box itself. So here we do get like the system itself. And the first impression is this thing was quite heavy. So this is a brand new company. This is called Vianava, something like that, or is it Viava? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just going to be honest. Like those names are going to be butchering all freaking day. Gamebox 12 volt 1 amp is needed for powering on. We do have like the USB dongle. I'm thinking this is like the one dongle to controller situation. We have seen it before. Inside already mentioned what we're going to get. So the power adapter is absolutely like flimsy. And of course we're going to get ourselves, the Chinese Place 2 knockoff controllers. And oh man, they smelled like burnt plastic. The weird thing is, like, do you know, when you're having these controllers, you can like see very quickly if they're like okay quality. To begin with, we have like the joysticks, not only the feel, but that it has like this nice rubber compound to it. When you're pressing the A, B, X, Y and basically moving around like this, you can already feel it. They're like okay quality. The D-pad is feeling very nice. It feels very loose. I really like it, but because most of them are very sturdy. The shoulder buttons are another great way to check it out, especially when it comes to the L2 and the R2. These are like feeling okay, so they are not like the best quality, especially when you're looking at the overall quality, like the cheap feel and the smell, because the smell is freaking awful. Ugh. Like I said, it's an Android box, so it comes with a manual, but not like the Android box manual. We do have like a very cheap, horrible remote. And then we have like a very extended manual. I must say, like, this is a very thick one, like with an explanation, but nothing really fancy. You can see like what you can do with it. It seems to be like we also have one with Xbox controllers, because they're showing it over here. They show you like what you can play with it, but let's take a close look in the inside later on with a teardown, because I wanted to see what kind of specs this thing has. The specifications tells a lot nowadays. So if you're having like your typical S905 X or L chip, you're not going to get amazing performance when it comes to the higher end stuff. Alright guys, so let's take a close look at the Gamebox itself. What are the connections and what are we actually going to get with this? So over here we're going to get two USB connections for the controllers. And at the back we're going to get ourselves the RJ45 Ethernet connection, HDMI, the AV out, the TF card and the input for the power supply. So let's take a close look what kind of brand they're using. They're using like a cheap brand like always, a 128 GB. Take consideration if you're having these cards, it's always like it's just recommended to back them up, because they will die off in the end. Yeah, they're really bad quality. Okay, I just needed to point out there's one thing I really like about this box. They improved. It's a little bit of a novelty, but it's pretty damn cool. So here you can see like the game box basically lights up. It's always the question like what kind of firmware are we going to get, but also what kind of theme they're using. And with this game box, the theme looks very cool. The unfortunate thing is that they removed a lot of options, and this means you can like configure controls, but there's not a lot of tinkering you can do with it. So what you can see over here, it runs on emulation 4.5. But nevertheless, let's take a close look at what are we going to get. So basically, they also shows a lot of like say platforms that they will not support perfectly. That's something to take consideration. These boxes are just fine for 8-bit, 16-bit stuff. But when you're looking at the compatibility, I think that is pretty interesting. Unfortunate, if there's something wrong, there's going to be a lot of like say tinkering needed to get this thing to work, simply because they locked out the user, or you and me who buys this. little bit weird in my opinion. What I basically want to test out, I just want to go into the deep dive of like the more demanding stuff like N64, PlayStation, PlayStation Portable, just to see how that actually runs. Okay guys, so let's start off with some Bloody Roar 2 with PlayStation 1. I say most of these devices will run PlayStation 1 very well, depending if they configured everything correctly.
Here we go! Getting ready.
Especially when you're transforming into the beast. There we're going to get the hiccups most of the time. When we're pressing select and start at the same time, we do get like the quick menu of RetroArch, so we do have the option to make a quick load, quick save, and we can implement cheats if you want to. Alright, so next up let's try some Dead or Alive 2 on Dreamcast. It's an absolutely great game to benchmark just to see how everything runs. Oof. You can hear that here we're going to get the point that it struggles sometimes. So it's playable, but you can hear that it stutters here now and then. Of course, if we're going to choose like a less demanding game, you don't have the issue, but... Okay, so as I'm in the menu, it runs on 20 FPS. Frame skip is absolutely like enabled, you can just see it. I just wanted to try just a basic game that I know it's going to be running okay. Because God of War, Wipeout doesn't run at all. But yeah, you can see like it runs at 50 FPS. Like, why should you add something like this to it?
Round one. Fight.
Goes up to 30. In my opinion, they can just rather like remove the PlayStation Portable in general, because it's absolutely garbage. Wow, I got my ass kicked whooped us. Alright, so next up let's try some GoldenEye on the N64, and it's going to be like glitch freaking nightmare already. You know, beside that it has like a lot of glitches, N64 always will be a problem on these cheap boxes. Some launch titles will work. I have no idea which button to shoot. I actually shoot the guy in the balls and he still stands. So unfortunately we do have like a lot of glitches because the game seems to be running just okay. Man. Come on, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Oh man. So new game boxes. I just to be honest, like I find it all super fascinating to see like what they're creating over there. So they try to improve it. I've been complaining a lot on this like heat problem, and yeah, it seems to be with the new models, it seems to be that they are like basically adding new ways to cool it down. It would be cool to see a more like active fans in the future, because yeah, you will have like better cooling performance. At least like a fan that sucks out the heat out of the case, but that is the main problem. The heat will be contained in the case itself, but there's no way of ventilation. You can see like there is some ventilation, but the ventilation is basically at the bottom. Yeah, so that's not like the best thing. It will be like better if it's going to be the other way around. That way like the heat will be transferred to the bottom, or bottom from the bottom to the top, and then we can have like some ventilation over here, so you can get rid of the heat and keep your freaking PCB alive. Okay guys, so this is basically what we're going to get with this new generation game box. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling that I'm repeating myself here, and oh wait, it is. Because we're going to get more of the same stuff in a completely new box. They try to improve it when it comes to the software, or better said, like when it comes to the layout of the software. but there is not like a big improvement over here. So if you're just new tuning in, yeah, this can be something completely new. But if you've seen a lot of videos, there are a lot of like say the same stuff. Because when it comes to the specifications, simply with TV boxes, there are only a couple of like chipsets out there that are quite interesting in my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become the Wicked family, and it will be great to see you in the next video.